Greetings, distinguished viewers. My name is Milen and I'm an animation artist currently employed in a Korean animation studio. So, as you may have guessed, I'm not from around here and my journey into this industry has been, let's call it a learning curve. If you've ever wondered what it's like to work in a Korean animation studio as a foreigner, whether it's the job hunting process, the work culture, or the weird office traditions that they do not put in the brochures, then stick around. I got stories. And no, I should not be divulging any industry-shattering secrets. I do, after all, enjoy being employed, but I'll give you an honest look into what it's like while keeping it, employer-friendly. So you might be curious to know a little bit of a background about me. My fate was sealed at the age of 4 when, while watching Lion King, I declared that I would become an animation artist. Unlike most childhood proclamations, this one stuck, and I've been to art school for 7 years. I got an animation degree and I got a second degree in illustration from a British university. At some point, I also got to learn from a former Disney animator. As soon as I could open a bank account, I started freelancing, background design, in-betweens, character design, storyboarding, you name it. My first real job was a media company making YouTube content. Then, for some unrelated reasons, I packed my things and I moved to Korea. How I manipulated my way into a Korean animation studio. Upon arrival, my Korean vocabulary was limited to ordering food and apologizing for my existence. And my first employment was illustrating books for an English academy, a gig that I found on Craigslist. But I thought something more substantial, and so naturally I have become an English teacher in a Hagwon. It was an art Hagwon, so I rationalized it as adjacent to the field. But the truth was obvious. I was wildly overqualified for the job and my soul began to wither. When my son started going to the daycare, I sent out a flurry of applications to animation studios. At the time, my Korean was conversational at best, but I put together a CV with the help of an AI in Korean, signed up on jobkorea.com, and applied to 20 to 30 places, I think. Out of all that, I got 4 interviews. And in the end, I had 2 offers to choose from. I went with the one that gave me more work from home flexibility. The interviews, or what Korean studios actually care about. So here's the biggest thing, language. Almost every employer was worried about my Korean level, and one even suggested that I pay them for the Korean classes before they would hire me. Delightful. Younger teams tend to speak some English, so if you're not fluent, you will have easier time with companies run by younger people. The older generations, less so. The studio I chose was a newer one, which I love because smaller teams actually need you. You feel like you're contributing something instead of being an interchangeable cog. And during my interview, they told me, "Your Korean level is fine. We will communicate through drawings." A sensible proposition, so I was like, yeah, okay, these are my people. And additionally, I would say that they often require a bachelor degree just because of the fierce competition in the industry. So let's get into what it's like working in a Korean animation studio. And number 1, office culture, or the rituals of forced camaraderie. In Korea, team bonding is not a suggestion, it's a mandate. There is something called
회식.
It's a sacred company dinner. During Kweshiks, you usually consume an alarming amount of meat and soju, all in the name of workplace unity. Drinking games are common, but fear not, from my experience, no one shall pour alcohol down your throat against your will. They will, however, expect your presence well into the night. I do not drink alcohol, well, a lot of it, so I just had to sit through endless barbecue nights, which for someone who doesn't like heavy dinners is a form of suffering on its own. Also, even though socializing is huge here, actually making friends at work is harder than you think. Office culture is friendly, but once you clock out, everyone's just disappearing into their own lives. Number 2. Overtime, the lifestyle choice? Overtime is an unspoken badge of honor. Some people stay crazy late, come in on the weekends, or even sleep in the office. I have a kid, so my contract hours are sacred. The latest I ever stayed was 7 minutes, and I just really wanted to finish a scene. Number 3. Lunchtime. Lunchtime is a social hour. In my studio, most of the time we eat together. If you bring your own lunch and eat alone, that's akin to social exile. It's not a rule, but it kind of is. Number 4. Korean animation standards and software. So Korean studios demand excellence. If you want in, your skills should be top tier. And for those accustomed to Toon Boom, abandon hope. Clip Studio Paint reigns supreme here, offering tools so powerful that one could theoretically create an entire movie without leaving the software. It's a beast. Perspective grids, 3D models, animation tools, webtoons, and more. Do check it out. Number 5. Animators pay and getting a visa. Money talk. Key animators start around $20 per 25 frames. If you're fast, you can make it work. But if you're slow, good luck. The cool part is that Korean studios do sponsor visas for talented artists. So if you dream of working here, keep applying. And for those hesitant to relocate, I would suggest consider Japan. They are significantly more inclined to hire remote talent. Number 6. Is that correct? Yeah. My studio mainly does outsourcing, so I worked on some pretty cool stuff, including projects, some stuff, and a lot of. There were also projects that I cannot talk about yet because of the NDA. My CEO is an industry giant, and he has been in animation for decades.
I am the most grateful that someone like this sees potential in a lemon for me.
So my odyssey through Korean animation industry continues. It's been challenging. If you're thinking of working here, my advice, learn Korean, build a killer portfolio, and above all, persevere. Someone will take a chance on you. Oh, and before I go, when I first started, I found myself adrift in the sea of Korean animation terminology. So in the feat of both necessity and desperation, I created a Korean to English animation dictionary. If such a thing interests you, do let me know down below, and I may well make a separate video. Okay, bye, until next time.